You're listening to the T21 Podcast, brought to you by Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks. Our mission is to bring life and wellness to families who are advocating towards a community of inclusion for individuals with Down syndrome. Hello and welcome to the T21 Podcast. My name is Chloe Jones, and joining with me today, as always, is Amy Bullard.
Hey guys.
And a special guest that I'll introduce in just one moment. But here on the T21 Podcast, we explore topics that are relevant to the Down syndrome community in 21 minutes or less. And today, we're going to be exploring the topic, Sibling Stories, with Jen Welton, who I'll introduce in one moment. But first, I want to invite you to like this video and like this podcast, subscribe to this channel, and if you find that one of these topics resonates with you, if you could send it to your friends and family. We want to get this information out to as many people as possible, and you can help us do that. Now, on to today's topic and special guest, we have Miss Jen Welton here.
Ta-da!
2 rounds of almost going to introduce you. Well, welcome. Jen is actually a sibling to Trent, who's not here today. He's actually not feeling well, so we miss him. We're sad that he's not on, but we're happy to have you here.
Thanks.
Maybe
Second
we'll
rate,
plug
but okay.
a photo or maybe a video of him saying hi or something.
Oh, that'd be
nice.
Yeah.
But Jen is also our board president of Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks, which we've mentioned before, but they're who sponsors this podcast. So DSGO is our local advocacy group for individuals with Down syndrome, and Jen is the president. So
Yay.
If you wanted to introduce yourself a little more, maybe even say how you found DSGO. Do a little plug.
You know, that is a really good question. I was thinking about this earlier, and I know that we became involved when Gretchen was the executive director. Mm-hmm. So that was a really, really long time ago. But I'll be honest, I can't remember the first time we heard about it. It may have been through the ARC, but we have we just went to an event, kind of a site, let's just check it out, see what it's like. And of course, we loved it immediately. Trent was like, look at all these people just like me. I'm like, yeah, hence the name Down syndrome. So yeah, that's how we got to know about it. And then of course, I couldn't stay away and loved it and was asked to join the board. And after that, I'm still here.
Now, you've been apart for decades.
I know, but it doesn't feel that way. And I love the families, and I can't leave. So.
And Trent is also one of our brand ambassadors.
Mm-hmm. So. He is. Yes, he's the Jesus gent. Mm-hmm. He has the hats and the bow ties, and yes, he's so sassy.
Mm-hmm. So if it's your first time tuning in, we're actually filming in the new Upside Down Mercantile store. So Upside Down Mercantile is a project by Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks where we help individuals with Down syndrome create businesses and brands, and they sell their products in our shop. So that's what we're talking about. Trent has Jesus Gent. So he sells mugs that say Jesus and coffee. He sells really cool hats, bow ties, all kinds of really cool gentlemanly-like things.
Yes.
And yeah, so we're so happy he's a part of it.
Yeah, he loves it. It makes him feel very useful. Mm-hmm. And, my store. That's all he talks about, my store.
There's a big picture on the wall. It's actually right over there, so you can't see it. But when he comes in, he's like, that's me. That's my store. And it's like the biggest picture in the whole entire shop. Yep. So it's fun. But if you wanted to shop any of his products, you can go to shopupsidedown.com/JesusGent, and you can see his things. But moving on to the sibling story, we want to know kind of from the beginning, like if you could paint a picture of what your childhood was like with Trent as your brother. And you have a really unique experience too, so I think people will be excited to hear it.
A little bit different than I think some of the other stories. Trent is the oldest of 3 siblings, and so I came along, I'm the youngest. I didn't know anything other than having a sibling who has Down syndrome. It was never a time of, oh, how are we going to handle this? It just always was. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I think we were always a little bit more tighter than the other sibling. And Trent was convinced we were twins, just born 5 years apart, because I am not that old, thank you. But we I was born in Muskogee, Oklahoma. He was born in California. My parents traveled a lot. So we kind of settled in Oklahoma for a little bit, and we were just those grubby little Okie kids running around causing chaos. And after a little while, we actually moved to India, which back then we weren't told that people with Down syndrome do not travel. We didn't know the stereotypes. We just did what we wanted to do, and move to India was one of those. Didn't affect Trent at all. He loved the Indian population. He loved the people.
Sorry, how old was he when you moved?
That is a good question.
Well, if you don't know, it's okay.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Okay.
I was 11, so
he was older.
Yes. So our parents would go beforehand, but then we went as a family then. And so, he just kind of went right into the culture. People didn't look at him different. To be honest, a lot of people in India thought he was from Burma because of his almond eyes.
Okay.
So they didn't look at him anything different. Trent has an elongated tongue, and so that is only about 20% of people with Down syndrome have that. And so that was a little different, but they kind of have gods over there that have long tongues. And that sounds really random, but because of that, that was like not the weirdest thing people in India have seen. So he blended in a lot better there. And so we just did what you do, and we experienced all the cultures together. Trent does not like rice, so he did not cooperate with that. He does not like eating with his hands. So, but everybody just kind of just went with the program, and whatever made it easiest, that's how it worked. And so we were just your average siblings, just living overseas, doing the work with my parents, and going to school there.
So cool.
So how many years were you guys there?
Oh, you're killing me with the
No,
details.
like did you wait to come back to the States till you were in college, or was it before that?
Back then, it was in the 80s, a long time ago, they tend to want to kick you out of the country a lot because you'd have to renew your visa, and we'll just say that. And then, so we would have to come stateside every once in a while. Sometimes we'd have to come for medical exams, and then we'd go right back over. When I graduated high school, I had to come back stateside, and then not go back with them. And Trent wanted the same thing. If my sister's staying stateside, if she's going to college, then I want to go to college. I mean, I'm the older brother. I should be able to do the same things that she does. And so that's when we had made that decision to make it a little more official. And we actually went before a probate judge. And in Greene County, I still hold the record of being the youngest person that ever was given guardianship over a sibling at 18.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were 18 and became his guardian because
Yes.
you both wanted to stay.
Because we both wanted to stay stateside. Yeah.
All right. So that was my next question: is when did you step into the caregiver role? So
Well,
what did that look like for you at 18?
I think we kind of stepped into those roles a little bit differently even before then.
Okay.
Because, Trent is your typical kiddo. He's the older brother. I'm going to take care of you. You're my little sister. And if that means acting like the Incredible Hulk on the neighborhood kid who pulled your hair, then watch out. That's kind of how that went down. But then when we got a little older, I guess that's when I kind of realized it kind of ticks me off when people make fun of him. Mm-hmm. I am not okay with that. I am not okay with him being treated anything different other than how I was treated. And I didn't even know how to sort out those feelings as a preteen or teenager. And we would go out and go to the store, what have you, and I'd get angry. If somebody was staring, I'd get in their face, be like, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? You want to go? And Trent would grab me, and he'd be like, just ignore them. I'm like, yeah, okay, yes, grace of Jesus. Trent's always trying to be Jesus-like, and I fail miserably. And So anyway, that's when I kind of realized, we are starting to switch some roles a little bit there. He had become very, very sick in India. Mm-hmm. We almost lost him. And that's probably was the big turning point, like the actual jump of when I said, okay, it's time for me to be the big sis. He will always be old man. He will always be the big bro, but I knew that it was going to have to turn a little bit, and so we did. I became more of a closer, looking after him kind of little mother hen maybe, and daughters tend to do that. They tend to do the motherly kind of thing a little bit more than maybe some of the guys, and then we came back stateside, and it just grew stronger and stronger. We were always close, though. Mm-hmm. But I think that sometimes what happens is I don't care who you're dealing with. When you're dealing with siblings or a cousin or family members, you're going to go through different times where you got to take up the slack, and then things might not be so good for you, and somebody else has to take up the slack. That's no different than what Trent and I went through.
Yeah.
I mean, there were times that I was sad. I was upset. Our parents were overseas. I was scared to death to be in the U.S., didn't know anybody. And Trent would just hug me and say, it's okay. We have each other. We're fine.
No.
And I'd be like, okay, all right, dude, I'm a loser. Let's go. Let's go. You know, he was the great encourager.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where that kind of flip-flopped.
So do you guys live together?
We didn't. There was a program through the state here where he could live with a family, almost like a foster situation, and we would pay them. Can't remember what that's called. But, and it was great for a little while because I wanted to be in the dorms, be the typical, go through the college experience. Mm-hmm. And then Trent quickly went downhill. That's when his thyroid kind of went off for the first time, where a lot of kids sometimes when they have Down syndrome, they get it early on. Or he actually got Graves' disease, and he just, he wasn't with family. Trent does not do well when he is not with family, and we realized that really quickly. So we removed him from that situation and got the gang back together again, so to speak.
Well, so that was like college age, going through that time in your life. Now, as you're both adults and you have your own family, how has your relationship changed in terms of caregiving or any?
Trent has always been very open for me to take care of him, especially as adults. But when it was time for me to get married, Jay asked Trent, can I marry your sister? And I kind of told him this was going to have to go down. And in our wedding, Trent was the one that says, Jay, you may kiss the bride. I mean, he was the dom of the situation. It either goes by him or it doesn't go at all. And so he knew he was always a part of my family when I had to move on and have a husband, and I chose him, okay. But marry Jay, and then when we had children, those were his nephews. And I kept him very involved. He changed diapers, he fed them, he rocked them, he played with them. He knew he couldn't have children of his own. And I will tell you that when I was 12 and he was 16 or 17, there was a time when he was really sick.
Sorry. That's awkward.
There was a time where he was really sick and he had gotten better. And when he came out of it, he all of a sudden had all these thoughts, and he was thinking a lot more advanced than he had previously. And he had said, I'm really sad I don't get to have children. And I said, Trent, I tell you what, when I have kids, I'll name them whatever you would name them. If you had a son, what would you name him? And he said, I would name him Brian Trent. And that was so unique. I'm like, where'd you come up with Brian? And that was just different for Trent. And so when I married Jay, I'm like, by the way. So our oldest son, we kind of met him in the middle, and his name is London Brian Trent Welton. Oh. So that way he, again, knew he was very much still a part of our family. It doesn't change. It just grew. Wow. And that made a really really big difference to him. And I think that has to be the case. I mean, when you're going about with your typical siblings, they just already understand that at certain times in your life, you're going to get married, you're going to have children, you're going to move on. But depending on the level of the person that has Down syndrome, they might not understand that so well. They may understand enough to know, I don't get to get married, or I can't. A lot of them can. A lot of them can do, like Trent, he could not. He could not get married. He could not have children. And so guess what? You got some great nephews. Now take care of them. There you go. So that was enough for him. He's very proud of them. He feels like he raised them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So really not a lot changed then over time. It just like was different phases of life. And so like, you're in an even different phase.
Now we're in a hardest phase. I never thought it would be. I mean, you don't think that long term when you're an idiot teenager, but he is 58. He's in a wheelchair because he has osteoporosis really bad, and he has scoliosis really bad. There's nothing really wrong with his mind. He has not had to deal with Alzheimer's. He has not had to deal with dementia. He hasn't had to deal with any of those typical things that come along. So he knows. Where before he would talk about death and it wouldn't bother him. Now he'll tell me weekly, I don't want to die. I want to stay here with you. And that, right in the gut, man. It's...
Well, because you're losing a brother, a best friend,
yes.
Almost a kid, right? Because at points in time you were his caregiver. So that's...
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a very different time in the next coming years. But we're enjoying it right now.
As you should.
He's a kick in the pants, man. He's always got something crazy to say. He's got his own opinions. He prefers to be called an old man. He's lost his teeth, and he thinks that's a Down syndrome thing, and we just let him think it. Yep, like that's right, Trent. No teeth. That's Down syndrome. You go, man. Because he truly thinks if you have Down syndrome, you are better than everybody else, and they just put up with the rest of us.
I mean, is he wrong?
I guess not. I guess not. So yeah, it's a little different this time around. But again, it's just another phase. It's just another period in our lives where things change, locations change, circumstances change, and you just go with it. You go with it depending on where you're at. And nothing's going to change from that. I mean, what's the saying? The only thing that stays the same is if it changes, things that change. Okay, I totally screwed that up. Sure. Yeah, we'll just go with change.
I have heard some of your ornery stories, which we will not share for our viewers, but I feel like you and Trent had some pretty fun times when you were in college.
Oh, my Lord. He's a trip. He is a trip. He keeps me on my toes. Yeah, we'd like to have a lot of adventures and none that I want on anything that's on the internet.
But I think that's fun because he got to live those experiences like anybody else would live those experiences.
Absolutely.
So I think it's fun.
Absolutely.
So we won't go into details.
No, let's not.
But I should share that he had a pretty stellar college experience.
He had an amazing
I haven't heard any of these.
Oh, you haven't? We'll talk about that later.
They're good. So I guess kind of to not wrap this up, but is there something that you would say to other siblings about just how to have a great connection, or that you don't have to necessarily take on the full caregiver role? There can be that back and forth. And is there anything that you would say?
I think the only thing that I would wrap this up is saying, don't take everything so serious. I mean, even when you have a Down syndrome child from the beginning, you're like, what if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do? And you can't. You just got to take it as it comes. And when you have a sibling that has Down syndrome, you were their best friend first.
Yeah.
And that's what you should always be. be an encourager, but just be free. Don't get caught up in the I am the guardian. Because if your sibling's like Trent, he'll smack you down and say, I'm big brother, and you're going to do what I said. And yes, you will. You will always do what he says. So, it's not about titles. It's about the relationship. See through the Down syndrome and worry about the relationship. Everything else, it'll just fall into place.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's perfect.
Well, thank you, Jen, for being on the podcast.
Well, you're welcome. I've enjoyed it.
You're so good on the mic. I was like, you need to take over this thing. You need to be the new.
You're funny, Chloe.
Well, I mean, obviously the big question that many families, and even those not a part of the Down syndrome community ask is what happens when your loved one is not a child anymore. And I think your story gives such a true and loving perspective as to what life can be like. So I think it's just awesome that you shared that. So thank you.
I hope it helps someone.
I think it is helpful because you lived life, right? You didn't think forward.
No.
And I think a lot of our families think forward. And so I think what you said is just do it, and whatever it comes as.
You could be prepared as far as paperwork, legal things. I'm not downplaying that. But as far as the relationship with that individual, keep it the relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Jen.
You're
Thanks for sharing your
welcome.
story. And until next time, we hope you have an amazing week, and we'll see you in Down Syndrome Awareness Month in October. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
If you would like to learn more about Upside Down Mercantile, you can go to shopupsidedown.com or visit us on Commercial Street in Springfield, Missouri. If you have a topic you'd like to know more about, you can email them to info@dsgo.life.